The idea that cons stick together is a bit of a myth. I was punched in the head by an inmate right in front of the guards, and the guards put me in the hole for causing the fight, even though I would never threw a punch. You know, that was the kind of thing that started happening. And that never happens to a regular thief. You got 30 convictions of shoplifting, they'll never do that to you. 30 times of going to an abortion clinic, they'll start doing that to you because they don't want you to do it. So there is where I saw some of the double standard. Eventually, a group called Anti-Racist Action. Now, I was married to a Hispanic woman, so really I'm not much of a racist. But they decided to take an interest in me. They came after my group with baseball bats and spikes. They were every bit as violent as I was when I hijacked the bus. They actually injured a police horse. One officer got injured. A few of them got injured. It wound up in the news. Somehow the news had it that the pro-lifers caused the fight, and they said that it was my group and that we were all elderly. So you get this idea of elderly 80-year-olds with false teeth brawling with the cops. In reality, a few of us were elderly. I also had mothers. I had some teenagers. I had some 20-year-old men and some 30-year-old men. And we weren't fighting. To the Toronto Police credit, they did a wonderful job of protecting us and fighting anti-racist action. Got most of them arrested. They had a prosecutor. He's a homosexual by the name of Michael Lesner. He actually dropped all their charges before they went to court. So once again, I saw a little bit of the double standard, especially in the Toronto courts. I'd like to believe it isn't that corrupt here. But certainly there, if you were of the right political persuasion, you could do a lot of crime and not actually go to jail. Versus us, we pray in front of abortion clinics, and we could go to jail for a long time. Eventually, with that kind of attention on me, I decided it'd be better to move to Regina, and I thought Regina, conservative, backwater, things would get better. In Regina, I ran for mayor. I also ran for mayor in the gay district of Toronto. Had a lesbian tell me she was going to kill me and take me to hell with her. I came in second last, but I had the most news coverage, so it was all good. When I ran for mayor of Regina, I promised to end the gay pride parade, and I promised to end all the funding for pornographic gay art. And, yeah, and I was also going to zone the Human Rights Commission out of the city because I recognized they were a threat to free speech. Well, that was where my nursing job came to an end. Now, when I was in Toronto, all that stuff I was doing, my boss was well aware of it, and they just give me unpaid leave of absences. So this ultra-liberal city, somehow, I kept my job for 6 years. The health district is, your employer then is the government, and they cannot bear that kind of dissent amongst one of their staff. So I wound up in a 7-year battle. Eventually, they charged me with professional misconduct for picketing in front of Planned Parenthood and promoting chastity and decrying. Planned Parenthood will send your 11-year-old daughter for an abortion without your consent. Will tell your 14-year-old kid it's good to engage in sexual deviancy like homosexuality, just use a condom. I said this is bad health care, and I can make very non-religious, reasonable arguments that this is bad health care. You will get HIV even if you use a condom. It will break, or the HIV virus can pass through. That's why as nurses, when you got thick latex gloves, if you touch blood and body fluids, you still wash your hands. So how's a little wee latex going to work? You know, I don't need God to prove that, but of course God makes it even better. We're created in His image, and we're not meant to do that kind of behavior. Well, having that kind of point of view on my time off was absolutely unacceptable for a nurse. They said I hindered the quality of provision health care, and therefore I breached my professional ethics by expressing these views on a public sidewalk during my time off work. That was a 7-year court battle. I won it, but I never went back to nursing because after 7 years you have to go back to school. So I still effectively lost my career, but I was very grateful that I set a precedent for other professions that they could use in order to be able to express moral and political viewpoints. Paul Frum could have used it had that precedent been set when he lost his career as a teacher for expressing the things that he believes in. My next battle I lost. It was the biggest battle of my life. It's the one that I think is the most profound, that affects all of you here. They were also promoting homosexuality in the public schools. They were promoting it to 6- and 8-year-olds. They were not giving parents the option of opting their kids out of it, so I said this was wrong.